it's over for Ben Roethlisberger. And here's why. They have 3 new offensive linemen. When we traded for Brett Favre, Brett said, hey, I need one thing. I'm like, Brett, we just traded for you. We'll go rename the George Washington Bridge, whatever you need. He's like, I need a really smart, strong, pass-protecting running back. So I know that the protections are solidified. I know when he's going to be hot. And Najee Harris, who I think is going to be a really good player, Jen, we don't know if he can pass protect. So you have 3 new offensive linemen. You have a rookie running back. You have a guy that's 39 years old that's made over $200 million. He was 29th in the NFL last year in yards per pass attempt. Tell me in the history of pro football, the 39-year-old quarterback who's going to hang in there and get the ball down the field despite a rebuilt offensive line, despite a rookie running back, and you've made $200 million. Like, your body only has so many hits in it. I just don't see this working.
And coming off of a season where their run game was worst in the NFL in terms of yards. Speaking of the Steelers, ESPN.com ranked most and least improved teams this offseason. And the Steelers, guys, well, they were dead last. The Jaguars were first. Is that a fair assessment of the Steelers' situation right now, that they were dead last in who made the most improvements this year?
Well, I think part of it is, as we talked about, is, some of those teams like Jacksonville had so far to go.
Right.
But I think when you look at Pittsburgh, I'm just surprised that they didn't say to DeCastro or Pouncey, hey, let's get one more year. Because, Bart, you know this, the relationship between the quarterback and the center is a very special one. And that's, to me, of all the things we've talked about, the fact that Pouncey's not there, if Roethlisberger doesn't trust the protections, we thought that the field shrank on him a year ago. That clock is going to be so sped up. And if I know, sitting here watching them, that he's not getting the ball down the field despite the Juju Smith-Schusters and the Claypools of the world, you don't think the opposing team coordinator is going to have, these safeties squat, compress the field. Now those windows get smaller. And I just think because the rebuild offensive line, him getting rid of the ball so fast, it's just going to be hard for them to be successful.
Now, listen, I am the biggest Steelers hater, right? People always say, oh, Mr. Can't Wait, right? You hate the Patriots. No, I hate the Steelers. Because guess what? In my career, the Steelers have stopped me from going to the Super Bowl. Not once, but twice, right? So this pains me to even give them any type of credit, right? My code may not work when I go over there to when I go over to the Ravens facility and I try and go in. Manny not going to make me no eggs, right? He's not going to make me no omelet. He's saying my omelet privileges are cut out, right?
Revoked.
One thing I know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, by having to face them probably more than any team in the history, right? Sometimes 3 times a year because we always made the playoffs and ended up having to play each other in the playoffs as well. One thing I know is the Steelers never panic, right? I can name me the position, name me the great player, and I'll tell you how easily they replace him. Remember, Alan Faneca came in, and he was a great Hall of Fame, going to the Hall of Fame this week. Oh, when he left, they thought the sky was falling, right? All they did was go to, like, Willie Colon, Kimo Kiamatu, right? You think about the Kevin Greens and the Jason Gilders. Oh, how are they ever going to replace those great players? All they did was come with Joey Porter. Oh, Joey Porter's great. Joey Porter leaves, right? Oh, how are they going to replace him? All they do is go Lamar Whitley, and all they do is go James Debo Harris, right? Oh, Debo's gone. Like, what's going to happen? They're going to struggle. Oh, TJ Watt, right? And I can go on and on, from San Antonio Holmes to Plexico Burress to Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders.
You just went on and on.
Right, see, exactly. When I say the butt, when I say the butt, I'm saying you're up for the butt.
But do you feel that way about the quarterback position? Do you feel that way about Mason Rudolph? Do you feel that way about Dwayne Haskins?
No, listen, Tooth to Truth ain't gonna never play, man. Like, Tooth to Truth Haskins ain't playing. We ain't worried about him, right? Listen, he's trying to get his life back on track, let alone his football career. So we're not worried about that. But what I'm trying to tell you is Ben Roethlisberger, yes, he threw the passes, more short passes than anybody last year, because guess what? That was an extension of the running game, right? What happens now is all those windows that were closed last year, linebackers stepping up because it was not stepping up because it wasn't a threat of the run. Those guys are going to start inching forward because guess what? Listen, Najee Harris is a throwback Pittsburgh Steelers running back. This ain't James Conner. This is somewhere between Amos Zerway and the bus. This is a guy that will step on your chest. And if you don't step up when you think it's a run as a linebacker, you're going to be on this ESPN highlight tape.
But, Bart, I agree with that. I love Najee Harris. But when your offensive line isn't good enough, and I have been there when you have a below average offense line, it doesn't matter.
But we don't know that, TB. We don't. What I'm saying about the Steelers, we never know who's in their pipeline. These are one of the best organizations in developing talent. They don't go out and go trade for big time offensive linemen. They always have one in the pipeline that we never. How many people have ever heard of Willie Colon before he became a dominant, offensive lineman?
Totally fair. I have a lot of respect for Kevin Colbert, that whole organization. Mike Tomlin is, to me, a very underrated coach. With that said, it's hard to replace one, maybe two, but when you're going to replace 3 offensive linemen in 1 year with an abbreviated offseason, I'm skeptical. And you can have Gale Sayer, yes.
No, I was going to say, you make a great point about Mike Tomlin because I think he's
never had a losing season.
He's created an incredible culture there with the Steelers.
And you can have Gale Sayers back there, but if your offensive line isn't good, and again, 3 of them in 1 year, I'm just really skeptical.
But what's the best thing that you do for an offensive line that's not that talented?
Rush the passer and play good defense.
No, you run the ball, right? Exactly. You run the ball. So you look at the Steelers. The Steelers might have the best defense in that division, right? They might have they got the best safety. They got some of the best defensive linemen. They have the best pass rusher within the division. No disrespect to Myles Garrett, but last season, if T.J. Watt stays healthy, he may be the defensive MVP of the league. He's been that dominant since he's been there. Got a great young linebacker. They have everything that Pittsburgh has always traditionally had. And I always use this, and anybody that's been listening to this show knows what I said. It's always once a man, twice a baby. Right? And I say once a man, twice a baby. That is a football term. You come into this league and you're not good enough to carry the team, and the team carries you. Then Ben Roethlisberger became, the perennial Pro Bowler, and he's carrying the team as he lost some of his weapons because how much money he makes. Now he's back to the beginning. He lost some money, right? There's going to be some people in the secondary market that's available. You know that it's going to be some good players that's going to get cut. They'll bring a lineman in or two to kind of create some depth, and they'll be just fine. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are always a threat.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.